Aye. On to approval of the deputy clerk, Dr. Gretz. I entertain a motion.
I move that Dr. Gretz serve as the deputy clerk of the board.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Mr. Brennan. So we have Dr. Gretz. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Gretz is the deputy clerk. On to the approval of the superintendent's designee, that's Dr. Striblin, Ms. Soares. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for that.
All right, thank you. Do I have a second for Dr. Striblin and Ms. Soares for the superintendent designee?
Yes, I'll offer that second as well.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
On to F, approval of the FCSB Code of Conduct for school board members. I'll entertain a motion for approval of that.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the code of conduct for school board members.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Rittenhouse. I have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, now on to the approval of the date and time of the regular school board meetings and the time of closed session. Do we want to keep the meetings on Wednesdays as currently?
I think that works so that we don't have conflict, with board of supervisors and other things. So I'll make that motion to keep it on second Wednesday, closed session at 5:30.
And open session at 6:30.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
I'll offer the second.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Yes. Are there any meetings that we need to modify or move from the standard second Wednesday at 6:30 in order to accommodate budget hearings and or other conflicts?
Yes, the second, our February meeting, the second Wednesday, we need to move that till February the 18th. To accommodate Dr. Gretz conflict.
Gotcha. So 2:18 instead of 2:11.
Correct.
Are there any others?
Yes, we need to have a budget seminar.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have that fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Chair, can I also just offer the context around
Yes, sir.
moving our meeting from the 11th to the 18th? Originally, this board is set to approve a budget on the 11th. So if you make that change, you will approve your budget on the 18th. We were originally to present the approved budget to the supervisors on the 18th, and they have already acted to move that presentation to the 25th. I just wanted to make sure when you see that, that is not a conflict.
Yes.
All right, so you were addressing a school board seminar.
Yes.
I see on some paperwork here that the staff provided that there's a proposal for January 24th, a Friday from 9 to 12 p.m. Is there, so I assume,
What's your motion?
I was like, that is a strange response to get from Andre. We can say all the things now because we're not being recorded, but
Wow.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
the 23rd, if that's best for the board, we can work around it. We do have, a couple of us will be doing block parties at Carriesbrook that day. If that's not of particular interest to the board, I would ask that maybe we not do it that day.
it's 124 on here, the Friday, you're talking about the 23rd.
The 24th.
Are you saying that
24th is a Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, it says 124.
You're looking 25.
I am totally looking
That's
at
last
25. Son of a gun. So that is not a proposal from the staff, that is history.
So there's
So when do
22nd?
we need it? When do you want the seminar to happen?
Well, it needs to be in advance, obviously, of your meeting in February on the 18th, where you approve a budget. When it happens in there, I guess the more time we have to prepare based on feedback tonight, the better, but it can be any time. It's convenient for you.
Is there a conflict with January 22nd? Board members?
That's a Thursday?
From 9 to 12.
Give me 1 second. Um, 22nd is a conflict for me.
Okay.
That time frame during the day.
Remind me, when are you good until, like, when is,
20, I'm out, the 29th I'm wheels up, so it's like 6 AM the 29th, so.
would the,
The 27, 28, that week would work for me, that Monday through Thursday, Wednesday,
would the 28th during the day, a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Work?
that would work.
That would work for you, what about for the others?
Or, yeah, I can work it.
Mr. Edmonds, are you,
That's fine. The 28th,
yeah,
9 to 12.
9 to 12, staff,
Wednesday.
does that work? It's a Wednesday, yeah.
That works fine.
Does that work for you? Okay. So let's, sorry, I don't mean to step on your toes here. So that would be 128 for the seminar. I got a message that Veterans Day is the second Wednesday of November. And so shall we make a change for that one now so that it's in our schedule? Or do you guys want to change that later in the year? I don't want it to kind of sit on our books and then,
I think we should go ahead and change it now if there's a conflict.
so the second, oh yeah, the 11th. Anyone have a preference for earlier or later in the month or in that week or anything?
With the 18th,
Yeah, that was the thought.
Yeah, because Thanksgiving's the 26th, right? Yeah.
yeah, can't do it.
Yeah, so I was just doing the holiday week in my brain.
18.
18 works for me.
Whose motion was it?
Well, we got one other thing.
You got one more? Sorry.
The school board seminar retreat. Want to go ahead and plan that. I would like to probably, if we can move it up to like maybe June, right after the budget. Budget is over.
And how many days do we need for this? Or how many hours do we need for this?
I would maybe, how many hours you think?
I would suggest a day.
Yeah.
And that could be a 4-hour day, or
One day in June.
if we could block off just during the day, or whatever's convenient for all of you, but I think one day would be fine, whether it's 3 hours or 4 hours or.
Anyone have travel already scheduled for the month of June?
June 3rd,
Good as any day for me.
Day but the 3rd.
8 13th.
Gotta be difficult on day one, huh?
Looking at my schedule.
And I'm pretty wide open in June.
Do you wanna do it before or after the June school board meeting?
Let's do it before. Does the second work? June 2nd?
Second is fine.
It's good for me.
To me.
June 2, 9 to,
9 to 4, 9 to 3.
9 to 3, block that off, and then we can solidify that if that works for everybody. 9 to 3 would be great.
okay, so we're in discussion on the regular calendar. Whose motion was it?
Second.
Do we know? It was yours. Mr. Rittenhouse, would you consider a friendly amendment to change the date of our November meeting from the 11th from February 11th to February 18th, to include a budget seminar on January 28th from 9 to 12, to move our November meeting from 11:11 to 11:18, and to schedule a school board retreat on June 2nd from 9 to 3.
Sure.
Ms. Kreitzer, would you like me to repeat that again?
Yeah, please.
Please.
You missed out February 18th on your motion, and November 18th is the annual BSB.
Shoot. No, it's okay. I think I got February. November does need to be changed, doesn't it? Other suggestions for how to move off of 11:11? Do you folks want to do in November the 10th or the 12th instead, a Tuesday or a
I was gonna say,
Thursday?
can we do it off of a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Before, night before Veterans Day? So the 10th.
Yeah, does anyone have a conflict on 11:10 during normal hours? Good.
What time is that gonna be?
Same time, so 5:30 close, 6:30,
Oh, so, okay, okay.
so we're just sliding
Got
a
it.
day to accommodate and honor veterans. So let me rephrase that. Is Mr. Rittenhouse's motion, and I was asking if he would entertain a friendly amendment to move our February meeting from the 11th to the 18th, to schedule a budget seminar on January 28th from 9 to 12, to reschedule our November meeting from the 11th to the 10th to be held at 5:30 close, 6:30 open, and to schedule a school board member retreat on June 2nd from 9 to 3. Yeah, please, go ahead, what did I miss?
No, I don't, I just wanna make this clear.
Uh.
On your calendar, you're taking right now there are two budget meetings, there are two seminars, and you're gonna combine those into one, which I
Yes.
think is smart because it's a very tight time frame. I just think it's important, whether it's in the motion or not, that everybody realize that the one you're actually scheduling on the 28th will be the budget hearing.
Hearing.
Or at least that the budget hearing would happen.
Well, having at the seminar. Same time.
Okay, let me try it again. Would Mr. Rittenhouse entertain a friendly amendment to his motion to schedule a budget hearing and seminar to occur on January 28th between 9 and 12, to reschedule the February meeting from the 11th to the 18th to occur at the same time, 5:30 and 6:30 for closed and open respectively, to reschedule the November 2026 meeting from the 11th to the 10th, also at 5:30 and 6:30 respectively, and to schedule a school board member retreat on June 2nd from 9 to 3 p.m.
So moved.
Who was the second on that?
It was me.
And will you entertain the friendly amendment?
Second, you're entertaining a second.
Entertain the second.
Yeah, so amended, we have a motion, we're still in discussion, and you can call.
All right, any more discussion? Ms. Kreitzer, you have all that? All right,
I'd offer you notes, but they're horrible.
Yeah,
so all those in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, aye, it's scheduled. All right, so on to H through P appointments of different committees. So we're on H. Approval of VSBA voting delegate and alternate at the annual conference.
The description of each of these is, if you click on the link, the description is in there, and Ms. Kreitzer has put the dates of the meetings coming up, just to make sure you're aware.
So currently we had Dr. Kelly, who is the delegate. Is that something you
I'm
wish to
happy to
continue?
continue to serve as the voting delegate for VSBA. I have attended some, not all of the meetings, but will do my best to be there.
So with that being said, we just need an alternate for that committee. Board members, who would like to be the alternate?
So just to like put some skin on this, so VSBA is the association that represents school boards in Virginia. They have an annual convention, they have multiple trainings, including ones that you guys have in your email related to being new school board members. We, with some regular cadence, meet and there will be votes. If the regular delegate cannot make it, the alternate can serve in that stead. So we're just looking for somebody who can do that if they are inclined to do so.
I'll be the alternate for that.
Great, I'll make a motion.
We don't need a motion, just need.
No? You don't need to move these?
All right, on to I, Piedmont Regional Education Program. We need a delegate or alternate for that as well.
Okay, so I'm currently serving as the prep representative and would like to continue doing that.
Okay. So we need an alternate for that as well.
I can be an alternate for that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brennan. All right, on to K, Special Education Advisory Committee. We just need a delegate for that.
You missed J for Blue Ridge Governor School.
I'm sorry, you're correct. We need a delegate.
So this belonged to Fork Union. Mr. Reed was the delegate. I took it over in the last quarter of the year and attended a meeting. But it is like prep, one of the meetings that happens during the daytime. It's like once a month or once every other month, but I cannot both do prep and that during the daytime. And so this is something I would like to relinquish to others.
What is this, I?
This is the Blue Ridge Governor School.
J.
J.
Is there anybody who would like to serve in that capacity? Remember that this is the program for gifted students, one of the, it meets up at the Best Western at the Crossroads. Lunch is provided.
During the daytime, you say?
Yeah,
During the daytime? Yeah, put me down as delegate.
okay, thank you, Mr. Rittenhouse.
So we need an alternate for that.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. On to K, the Special Education Advisory Committee. Just need a delegate for that, one person.
I'll do that.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Wellness Committee.
I can do wellness.
Thank you, Mr. Brennan.
I don't know if that one has met much of late, but they will get you hooked up.
The CIP.
CIP again.
Thank you, Mr. Rittenhouse. Ed Tech Committee. That was me, I'll continue doing that. On to O, Career and Technical Education Committee.
I can do CT.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brennan. Last one, Gifted Advisory Committee.
That's fine. You can tag me with that one.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I am sorry. I'm gonna have to ask the board to go back to your calendar.
Okay.
Ms. Kreitzer has reminded me that there's a timeline you have to adhere to.
Okay.
So you are gonna have to have two meetings, actually, because there has to be 7 days between, we cannot do the hearing on the seminar date.
Mhm.
there has to be at least 7 days between the hearing and the approve. So if you keep the 28th, which is fine, we would have to have the hearing the following week. In order to accomplish 7 days before, well, you could do it the following week. It just has to be 7 days prior to the 18th.
Seven days prior to February 18th.
That's right.
Do we need an entire meeting for that, or is it sorry, obviously we need to like gather and be here. A hearing for the budget is generally not particularly long. Is there any other way to realize economies of scale on that?
So it's gotta be before the 11th to accommodate you, right, Mr. Gretz?
Well, not necessarily.
You don't have to be there.
Yeah, when do you leave?
I'll be gone from the 11th to the 13th.
So the 4th, the next week. So let's,
I'm out for that though.
I don't think
You can
it's
zoom in.
critical that I'm there necessarily. I mean, I would like to be, and if there's any conversation that we want to have about the budget at that meeting. But
Sorry, we can't do it on the 28th. Why again?
you can do it on the 28th. We just can't have the hearing, you can't have the hearing coincide with the seminar.
For code, are we required to have a seminar?
Can I speak to this?
Please,
Yes.
oh, please.
So January, we usually have a seminar in order for them to gather their information for the budget book.
Mhm.
Then the following week, Dr. Gretz comes, presents his budget and has a budget public hearing.
Mhm.
Then the following week is usually when you adopt a budget. So if you have the meeting on the 4th, you would then adopt a budget on the 18th. You just can't have a seminar and approve anything with a budget public hearing.
let's do the 4th. Mr. Brennan said he can't be here, but he's able to use Zoom in.
Try my darndest, but yes.
How long is that meeting gonna be?
Usually we get 4 speakers. Usually it's a break in another meeting in which we stop and have public comments. Generally no more than a handful. And that is the totality of it. I suppose if we put it on the 4th as a public hearing, then we have the opportunity to like have other discussion that day. Or use the time if we need it. Right? Because it'll go in as a public notice, as a public hearing, and so do we need to have like an agenda for that as well, for that day?
He'll present his budget, it'll be a small.
Oh, okay.
He'll present the budget, we'll have a budget public hearing, so it's typically at 5:30, public hearing, 6:30.
Not working.
So presentation of the budget at 5:30, public hearing at 6:30.
Yes, sir.
So February 4th works for everyone?
If I can, I'll have to zoom in on that.
Okay, so that works only if the other 3 of us are here. Because if we can't make quorum, nobody can participate remotely. So the question is, do we wanna find a different day that week in order to get more people in-house? Or do we wanna risk not making a quorum and upending our budget cycle?
Yeah, we can't have that happen. Mr. Evans, does any other day work during that week?
You have to have at least 3 here, you said?
You have to have a majority here in order to have a meeting, in order to let anybody else in remotely. Sorry, folks, logistics.
Alright. Just have to make that work. 5:30? Okay.
Dr. Kelly, move it to the 9th.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. We can move it to the 9th or 10th is what I heard, or we can try to make the 4th work.
Make the 4th work.
February 4th?
Mr. Chair, I move that we add a budget public hearing and presentation of the budget from the superintendent on February 4th with the meeting starting at 5:30 and the hearing occurring at 6:30.
Do I have a second to that motion?
A second.
Thank you.
And then, did I get that right? Are you guys
Yes.
satisfied with that one?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, all that's over.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, we may need to read her the appointments since she was unable to take notes. And you and I, my chicken scratch hopefully matches yours.
I hope so. Okay, on to 5, certification of closed sessions.
Actually, Hans, can we help the clerk get the appointments, the committee appointments? Correct? Just do it after.
Ms. Price, can I have a certification, please? Yes.
Mr. Bruin?
Yes.
Mr. Edmonds? Yes. Dr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Rittenhouse?
Yes.
All right, Dr. Gretz, is there any actions coming out of closed session?
Mr. Chair, I recommend that the board approve as discussed in closed session student discipline cases 1A through 1E.
So moved.
All right, do I have a second?
I second.
All right. Since it's closed session items, there's no discussion, so all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move we adopt the agenda as presented.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? All right, all those in favor of adoption of the agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, on to the consent agenda. Is there anything that we want to be pulled separate?
Mr. Chair, given we have new members here who need to abstain from minutes of prior school board meetings, I'm gonna move that we first approve consent agenda items A and C, which are the monthly claims and the personnel recommendations.
All right, do I have a second to approve A and C on the consent agenda?
I'll make that second.
Thank you, Mr. Rittenhouse. All those in favor of that, please say aye. I guess there any, I'm sorry, any discussion first? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And 2 members abstained because they wasn't here. All right.
No, they can vote on A and C.
Yeah,
We're doing A and C, so you may vote on that.
I guess on to B, right?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes of the prior school board meeting. And if anybody wanted to offer a second, they would need to be able to vote, so it would be nice if.
Second.
Yep, second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Dr. Gretz, finally on the record.
Thank you. Board members and all those in attendance, we welcome all of you. We've got some really special guests here tonight, some of whom will be introduced a little bit later, but I do want to acknowledge our new school board representative. Braden is going to join us, and he's here with Amina. And so we welcome you to the new post. Thank you for being here. We also have a government student. Is there only one? Jordan, are you the only one? I just want to make sure I don't leave anybody out, but welcome, Jordan. Thank you for being here. You had no idea we were going to do this, did you? But each year we have an opportunity to join our staff in the schools and departments to recognize those with exceptional contributions to our school division, teachers of the year from each school, and then we will recognize a division-wide teacher of the year, and then staff members of the year. Support staff and teachers from each school. Principals are here, and I've asked them to just briefly say a couple of words about their school division, school-specific teacher and support staff member. And so we'll invite them to come up. We'll honor them with a plaque, invite school board members to come up. We'll take a picture. We'd love for you to, as much as you're comfortable, to introduce family members who might be with you so that we can celebrate you. And then at the end, we'll recognize the support staff and teacher of the year across the division. So I've been asked to shake things up a little bit and not start with Central Elementary. We're gonna go top down. We're gonna start with Margot Bruce. Miss Bruce, if you could just come and tell us about the teacher of the year and support staff member of the year from the high school. Thank you, Margot.
Thank you. I hate being last all the time. So I'm excited tonight to introduce to you my teacher and my staff member. When I thought about the two of them individually, I thought about our core values: work ethic, optimism, relationship. You got trust. You have it all. If I could, well, it's 40 years, I'll be out of school this year, telling my age. I would want to be in Miss Esch's classroom. So every time I go in there to do observations, it's not the same. You're never going to see the same thing, which you shouldn't anyway. And she just brings joy to the classroom. She's not just a teacher, but she's a mother. And I'm just excited to say that she was nominated as the high school teacher of the year. Miss Margie Brown, my support staff. The school does not operate if Margie is not there. She's my bells, she's my everything, but she keeps everything smooth. So when you come by in the hall, like some of you all visit us this week, and the halls was clear and everything was quiet, it's because Margie was in control. But no, she's truly an asset, and I am so grateful to have her as on my staff at the school. So Miss Margie Brown and Miss Sherry Esch. And you want to say who you have? You want them to say that, Dr. Grass? He's saying that.
Introduce people with them? Absolutely. Are you going to introduce folks?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us who you have with you.
I have my husband Matthew's with me, and then my middle daughter Mallory, she's a junior at the high school, and then my son Joshua, who is in 7th grade, will be joining me next year at the high school.
Welcome.
Can the board get a picture?
Yes, please.
We've had a new journey, so he's been right there beside me all throughout that journey.
That way I look taller.
Oh.
Come on.
Yeah, get kind of
Sideways.
Come on in.
Better angle.
Done it or out? Out.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Congratulations to both of you. Audio's good. So Laura Dugalinsky, represent the middle school.
I am.
I'm going to cheat a little and read because I think what's important is the information here was not only thoughts that I had, but also from her colleagues, and I think that goes a long way to say. Teacher of the year this year is Miss Alicia Patterson. Thank you. Alicia is one of the most dedicated teachers. She has a clear sense of who she is as an educator and a deep understanding of her strengths. The language arts team looks for her leadership and thoughtful discernment about what's best for students. She selflessly takes on tasks to improve student success and lighten the load for her teammates. Alicia consistently creates and shares plans, materials, and resources that elevate instruction for everyone. Since coming to FMS, she has supported the grade level teachers, challenging and strengthening the 7th grade language arts team, and positively impacting our entire school. She's dedicated to her craft, fully invested in her students' growth and progress, and consistently inspires those around her with creativity and commitment. She models professionalism and leadership in everything she does. Whether she's piloting new strategies, teaching new techniques during planning, or advocating for her students, she consistently raises the bar for everyone. Way to go. We are proud to have you at FMS. Our support staff is Stacy Manuel. She is, thank goodness for her with technology. She kind of jumped in tonight, right, going to it. Her team has shared some great things about her too. Not only does she support FMS, but her efforts were strategic through the visitor pass system, through the entire division. She supports that, as well as all of the cameras, and when you need to find something, she'll find out for you. But she's gone above and above with the new, above and beyond between the strategics and visitor management across the schools. The transition from Raptor has not been easy, and Stacy has dedicated countless hours in ensuring a smooth and successful rollout. In addition to leading the major transition, she continues to provide exceptional technology support to the middle school in Abrams and managing the division surveillance system. Her ability to balance these responsibilities and her professionalism is truly impressive. I can call Stacy anytime during the day, whether it's on the radio or thing, and first thing she'll say, I'll be right down, and what do I need? And she's there, and we are thankful for you, Stacy.
Do it again.
Trippy this time.
Scott. Y'all are amazing.
Y'all have people that,
My
don't embarrass anybody you don't want.
My daughter's out the hallway, my mother-in-law's there, my best friend.
Welcome.
Come on, Stace. I'll keep you both.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
guys.
Scott wouldn't sing for us, but perhaps he will come and share the good news about Carysbrook.
Stacy, I'm so sorry.
So I have to start by saying I'm truly honored to be here to recognize the two folks from Carysbrook, our Teacher of the Year and Staff Member of the Year. I will start with my Teacher of the Year, Ms. Gross. I will start, I made bullet points, I don't have this nice paragraph like she did. Ms. Gross is humble. One of the most humble teachers that I have. Ms. Gross doesn't realize how good she truly is. She demonstrates genuine kindness and patience, fostering a positive and supportive classroom environment. She maintains clear, consistent, and effective communication with parents. She is highly organized and intentional in planning and instruction. She makes student-centered decisions. All of her decisions are student-centered. She holds high expectations for all students while providing the support needed for them to succeed. She is an amazing collaborator with her teaching partner, also leading to student success. She creates a learning environment where students feel valued, challenged, and encouraged to grow. And finally, it has been a pleasure to watch her grow as an instructional leader with her team, and I am just so proud to be her principal. Nice. Good job. And then Mr. Palmer is our staff member of the year. It is such a pleasure to work with Mr. Palmer. He works, as my mother would have said, he works like 10 men. He just never stops. No matter what is needed, he's there to take care of it. He takes so much pride in our school, in our staff, our students. Everything he does carefully because he takes so much pride in it. Mr. Palmer is kind. He takes initiative and will drop whatever he is doing at any moment, no matter what he's into, and he's going to come help whomever needs it. He's hardworking, like I said. He's so dedicated to Carysbrook. just amazingly dedicated to Carriesbrook. Takes great pride in his work. Everything he does, he does with attention to detail. He's willing to do anything to benefit the school, staff, and students. I already said that, but it's very true. And finally, I'm just very proud to work with him. Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Good job.
Need you all to come forward. Board to come forward. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, guys.
Congrats.
Do y'all have anybody?
Yes, you
That's the one I work with, day shift. Fantastic. Well, we'd love for you all to introduce anybody that you have with you.
I have my husband, Peter, and my daughter, Charlie, who's a senior this year at Fluvanna, and then my really good friend, Linda, and my other, her husband, Robert. They're like my parents here in Virginia.
Fantastic. Welcome, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Congrats again.
Congratulations.
Bring them home. Amy Barnaby.
I'm gonna change things up a little bit. I'm gonna make Miss Peck come up here and stand with me. Her moment in the spotlight, so it's not about me. I'm actually going to read the nomination because I think it's important to note that the nominations came from colleagues. And as my peers will point out, I could stand here and talk forever about Ms. Peck because I have the highest respect and love for this lady. Says Ms. Peck fully embodies our central motto, we stick together. She is reflective of her practices, the epitome of dedication. She serves her colleagues, students, and the community through her passion and commitment to problem solving. Beyond her professional expertise, she's a team player and always willing to help out colleagues with daily routines such as lunch duty or coverage. She demonstrates compassion, empathy, always checking in with her colleagues and providing notes of encouragement and support. She extends herself in so many directions, a lot of different directions. I won't say she overextends, but she might be on the tip of it. Always willing to help and support, but most importantly, she thinks outside of the box. She supports our community through her family outreach events, her initiation of the Dolly Parton Imagination Library campaign within the community, and her support of all of our new teachers as Central's mentor program coordinator. And I'm sure there is something that we left out, to be honest. She is a tremendous asset to our Central staff and students, and she makes a lasting impact on our Fluco community, especially if you were with us at Convocation. This fine lady was talked about in the highest regards. She truly makes a difference, and it is my pleasure to work alongside and with her. So congratulations. And my support staff member of the year, Mr. Troy Bates, was not able to be here with us this evening, but you will see him in that picture. And if you notice, you will see him in many pictures on the slideshow with children, because not only is he a custodian, he is truly a role model and a mentor for our students as well. And he really is such an asset to us. As stated by some of his colleagues, Mr. Bates exemplifies the Fluco 4, especially in the area of dedication and building positive relationships, and that's both with his colleagues and with his students. He demonstrates heart and professionalism in everything that he does. He's punctual, dependable. Most importantly, he takes great pride in ensuring that our school environment is safe, clean, and welcoming for our students and staff and visitors. He eagerly trains new staff, models the technical skills, and most importantly, the strong work ethic that we want all of our employees to embody. Troy is respected by his colleagues, loved by the students, and admired by families and community members. And we're excited to say that Central is incredibly fortunate to have Troy as part of our Fluco family. So We're excited for
Take a picture.
it.
Well done.
Well, that was short and sweet. It's very good. It's gotta calm down.
It was still the longest.
It was the longest. Okay, you're behind me. I'm really tall. I'm sorry.
No, not at all.
Anybody here?
I do. I do. I have my husband Shannon, our daughter Taylor, and my mother-in-law Pat.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
So, before you sit down,
Okay.
I do want to announce that you are our division-wide Teacher of the Year. And
Thank
Troy was unable to be with us, but Troy is also named the support staff of the year. We are just so fortunate in Fluvanna to have such incredible people. Even just personally as a dad, I'm just seeing at the high school, Teacher of the Year, one of the most important people to my senior. And then somebody who gets my 7-year-old out of the car every day. Thank all of you for being here. Thank your families. If you will indulge me just a minute while we have everybody here, can I ask our principals to come up and just stand here for just a moment? Or do I have to tell you to do it? So, I don't know that anybody will know this name. The late William Bill Bosher was his name. He was state superintendent at one time. He was Virginia Superintendent of the Year, National Superintendent of the Year. He was superintendent of Chesterfield County Schools, Hanover County Schools. Really a legendary figure and a mentor to many of us, maybe my age, in Virginia. He one time was interviewed after he was named Virginia's state superintendent. And I don't remember exactly the question, but whoever was interviewing him made some reference to the job he had just been named to being the hardest that he may have ever encountered. And he stopped the interviewer. And he said, "This is not by any means the hardest job I've ever had." And she was kind of stunned. She said, "Really? Which one?" And he said, "Without question, principal." So this is Virginia's School Principal Appreciation Week. And I just ask while they're here, if you guys would join me in showing appreciation to our principal.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Our principals, truly, we're gonna get a picture.
You got bamboozled.
Can't get off this thing.
Hey, we're not in order.
Yeah, sneak in between us. Bring this up a little bit.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm the one that's supposed to be over
Come on
there.
in. You can move in this way.
Is somebody taking?
We're just gonna pose.
I know, I was like,
Our photographer is,
Not here.
she's talking to Don.
Just kidding, we're not taking a picture.
I thought
Hey,
Jen was
Brandon,
taking most
maybe
of
she
mine.
was.
Jen was.
Do we have a stand-in photographers?
Somebody mind snapping us?
oh, here we go.
Oh, there's Jen.
She's got a number.
She should, she keeps us all together.
That's right.
She fixes us.
that to somebody.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. Thank you, board members. That is the end of the recognitions.
No, of course not all. I've done some plugging and unplugging as best I can, but it's strapped to the table. So the land bridge is blinking orange, which I think just means getting data, so it's possible it's.
All right. Everybody leave.
Have a good evening, all
Thank
of
you so
those
much
who
for being with us.
need to
Thank
go.
you.
Recognize FLDP students for being here.
Absolutely. Do you want me to do that?
Just recognize FLDP students for being
Yeah.
here. Somebody.
You
As we're
ready for the
doing
next
it.
one?
Yeah, man.
Okay. So board members, before we move on to the first delegation, we want to welcome members of the most current cohort of the Fluvanna Leadership Development Program. I don't know if you guys are willing to just raise your hands so that everybody knows who you are, but we really appreciate you being with us as well. And thank you for your commitment to learning about the community and to becoming, just equipping yourselves to be that much better in terms of participation and leadership. And thank you, welcome. So, board members, we have had and will continue to have a lot of discussion about our health insurance program, benefits program in general. So Sam Irby, who works with Innovative Solutions and is our third-party administrator, our advisor, our consultant, helps us to make sense of things and to make wise choices, is here with us tonight. And so Sam, we will turn the podium over to you and invite you to share some things with the board, and then I think board members probably have some questions as well.
Sure, I appreciate that.
Thanks for being here.
I'm not really sure how to follow such a nice presentation of recognizing everybody.
It's good
To go from such a high to have to talk about me and insurance is not necessarily a good thing, but we'll go there. I certainly appreciate the opportunity to speak to y'all tonight. I'll just try to take a very few minutes and then answer any questions that you might have. Realizing your meeting's coming up with your budget and all, I know we've got to get things pulled together rather quickly. But I will tell you, I've already got Jefferson Health Plan presenting a renewal hopefully to us sometime next week. So we'll have some preliminary numbers for you at that point pretty quick. So we've tried to stay ahead of the game there so we know where we are. And I don't know how detailed you want me to get, but I'll kind of back up a little bit and go through group health insurance 101, so to speak, just a little bit to be sure people understand the different types of programs you can get into. And as you're aware, you've got Anthem, you've got Centera Health, you've got United Healthcare, Aetna. There are a lot of different providers out there, insurance carriers. But let's start first with fully insured. That's the one that everybody's been used to all their life pretty much. A fully insured program, with that, the insurance company is holding all the risk. That's what insurance is really about, right? Let the insurance company have the risk, not the school and not the client or the employer or the employees. So in a fully insured contract, it's a 12-month contract. Everything there is 12 months. The insurance company is holding the risk. You have fixed premiums. So at the beginning of the contract year, you know exactly what your premiums will be for the coming year. They're going to take out of those premiums the admin costs. They're going to pay all your claims for you during the year. When the contract ends at the end of 12 months, any claims that haven't gotten in at that point, they're going to pay all of those claims as they come in. That's called the run-out claims. IBNR, incurred but not reported. And during that period of time, you have what they call a pooling limit, where they are basically providing and buying reinsurance coverage so that if you have a really big claim, they have an insurance company they go to get that money back, so to speak. Now, with that, Anthem usually provides all their own reinsurance. A lot of other companies use outside reinsurers to do that. But that's how the fully insured contract works. It's real simple. Every year, they reprice everything, they add the profit into it, and they say, here's what we're gonna charge you this coming year. And you can just work it into your budget and pay your premium, okay? When I think about self-funding and how to explain that, I like to explain it thinking about buckets. It's kind of like if we had 3 buckets sitting here on the floor, and after we talk to the underwriter and we get a set of what they think the premiums will be this year, you're gonna send them money, it's the insurance company money, and they're gonna take that and put it in these buckets. They're gonna drop some of it in the admin cost bucket. They're gonna drop some of it in the reinsurance cost bucket, and then they're gonna have that other bucket where most of your money is gonna go, and that's to pay your claims during the year. With self-funding, you, the client, say, well, we want to pay the first $100,000 of every member's claim. So anybody, we're gonna pay 100% of the claims for the employees until they hit $100,000, except for their deductibles and co-pays. The school is gonna pick up all the rest of the claim. But once it hits that 100,000 or that 125,000, most people use 125,000 or 150,000 or more, the reinsurance will come in and pick it up at that point. So the situation that you're in now, y'all are self-funded, and you're using $125,000 per member that you are responsible for between you and the insured. So the insured either has a $500 deductible, 80/20 co-insurance to a stop loss of maybe $4,000, or they've got a $1,000 deductible, 80/20 co-insurance to $5,000. And I can tell you a little bit more about how those plans work if you want me to. Y'all also have something called a qualified high deductible health plan with a health savings account attached to it. So your insureds will pick which plan they want for the year. And then they'll pay their portion, and y'all are picking up the rest until you hit that specific. To take self-funded a step further, we want to know that if everybody has a train wreck during the year, we've got to have some kind of security there to slow down those claims for you. So you use something called aggregate insurance to do that. And basically what that usually says is, here's what we think your claims are going to be for the coming year. If they go 120 or 125% over that number, the insurance company will come in and pick up the remainder of that and try to help you beyond that period. So you buy that in addition, and y'all do have that coverage currently as well. The last few years, what's been happening is you get a rate increase. When they calculate rate increases, they're looking at trend first. The trend is doctor's offices, hospitals, prescription pharmaceutical companies. Everybody wants more money every year. Everybody's looking for a raise. Some of them under a 3-year contract, sometimes it's a 5-year contract, but they all coming up year after year. Trend lately for the last number of years has been running between 8 and 10%. So the underwriter's gonna look at your trend, then they're gonna turn around and they're gonna look at current risks. They're gonna look at what utilization you had this past year, which is just basic utilization. I went to the doctor's office and it was $100 charge, or I had appendicitis and that cost a few $1,000s, or whatever the case may be. They're gonna look at that normal utilization. Then they're gonna look at your high claims. How many claims did you have over 25,000? How many did you have over 50? How many did you have over 100? How many of them hit your spec and went on up to $400,000 or $500,000 claim? So they're gonna look at all of that. They're gonna pull all that together, and they're gonna come back and they're gonna say, okay, your reinsurance rate this year is gonna be this amount of money. We're gonna put that in that bucket. Your admin's gonna be in this bucket. And we think your claims for the coming year, maybe they were $6 million last year, and we think they're gonna be $7 million this year. So we're gonna take the reinsurance number increase, we're gonna take that claim increase, add it all together, and say, okay, funding for the coming year has to be $8 million, or whatever the case may be. When you go into that, you know that's where the funding needs to be. underwriters are very, very good about projecting claims and knowing what's going on. Because they get in doctor's codes all the time. They can see things coming down the pipe. They know whether it's going to cause a very high medication cost or surgery is going to be needed and different things like that. So what they're doing is looking at all that, giving you the best guess of what they think it will be. They're usually very, very close with claims and what they're projecting. They're very good at that. So they wrap all that up and they send it out to us, and then we bring that to y'all and say, okay, here's where we are now. Where do you want to go with this? Do you want to, we always negotiate renewals. We're always trying to get reinsurance rates down. We're looking at the claims and saying, hey, we think that reinsurance rate increase is too much. But when you come right down to it, about 85% or so of all of your money is claims. The other 15% of the admin and reinsurance, mostly is what's going on with that. Currently, we're using Jefferson Health. Jefferson Health is a governmental entity out of Ohio. They provide the underwriting, the reinsurance, accounting functions, as well as what we call level funding for you. The level funding makes it very easy because what happens is, rather than you getting a shock loss claim and having to come up with an extra $500,000 one month, if an extra $500,000 needs to be paid in February, they're gonna put up the $500,000. And then they're gonna file the reinsurance and they're gonna get the reinsurance, to cover everything over 125. And it just helps you with cash flow so that you're not getting hit and saying, oh, where are we getting this money? Most self-funded plans bill weekly. And if you had that $500,000 claim that week, they want it back the next week. Those types of things, which puts you in a bad situation. One thing Jefferson Health does, they don't do that for you. They keep everything level and work it through that way, which is a big help, I think. Centera Health Plan is acting as your third-party administrator. What that means is they provide you with a network to use, the doctors and hospitals. They process all your claims for you. So all the claims are running through them. They also handle your pre-authorizations. If I need to go have a scan done or go to be inpatient in the hospital, it's not an emergency, they do all the pre-auths and do those things for you. They also provide disease management coaching. So when they see my code come from the doctor's office that says Sam Irby's a diabetic, they're gonna reach out to me and make a telephone call. And they're gonna say, hey, or they say, Sam Irby's a high-risk pregnancy. They're gonna jump right in the middle of it. They're gonna contact that person. They're gonna try to help them walk through that pregnancy so that they can have their natural delivery, get that child in this world, and everybody has a good outcome. That's what those coaches are for. And I will encourage you to always encourage your employees, if they get one of those telephone calls, please engage with that coach, because it does two things. It helps them to have a successful outcome. It also helps to keep your claims down, which keeps your renewals down, which means it keeps the cost of the employees down in the next paycheck. So it's a really good effect there across the board. Right now, you're using Express Scripts as your PBM, your pharmacy benefit manager. That's part of your program now where your prescriptions come from. Innovative Insurance Group, what we do, we're your consultants. We provide customer service. We solve claims for your employees. I always encourage all the employees. You have a claim, you don't think it looks right, send it to us. We've got people there that will research it, look at it. If it was done incorrectly, we'll get it paid for you. I don't always guarantee we're gonna get it paid. If it wasn't supposed to be paid, we're gonna come back to you and say, I'm sorry, that claim is being paid per the policy, and you do owe that $500 or whatever it may be. But our people do this every day, so they know how the policies work. They know what should be paid. In addition to that, we are also just providing oversight and compliance to be sure you stay in compliance with the government, with the Affordable Care Act, that you're not getting penalized because you weren't offering affordable care, things of those. We check that every year and try to keep all of that in line. Your renewal is July 1. As I said earlier, your trend, probably 8 to 10%. Hopefully this year, and claims right now are running along a bait where I think they should be, maybe slightly higher than I would like to see. I'd much rather that claims bucket be fuller at all times, because at the end of the year, if there's money in that claims bucket, it belongs to y'all. And that's what we want to see happening year after year. But that's basically what goes on. As I said, we have asked them to provide a renewal by sometime next week. Any questions?
Yeah, I'll start this
Suggestions?
party. I'm always happy to. So for clarity and new board members, new year, et cetera, do you in any way get paid based on which insurance company we work with, or how much of our claims are paid, or how big our bucket is, or any of those things?
Great question, but I would like to expand on that a little bit.
Please.
We charge a fee, we have a contract with you, the fee is the fee, and I don't care what insurance company we put it with. We're gonna try to show you the best place to put it or show you what we're seeing the best. There's a lot of underground money in this business. People get it, well, and in addition, I forgot to mention one thing about self-funding. You do get prescription rebates. Okay, so that's a help as well in one way. But prescription rebates, there are a lot of consulting firms, they get money coming off the rebates, coming back into them. We don't do that. Commission on reinsurance premium. Y'all's reinsurance premium this past year, probably $1.5 to $2 million. We don't have any commission coming off reinsurance. All of my clients know exactly what we pay. That's the way I've always wanted it. I don't want to talk about it or worry about it. And I think that's one reason we've been very successful through the years.
Well, thank you for that. Sorry, I sometimes ask the questions I know the answers to, just to like level set.
No, I
here.
appreciate
So
your question.
functionally, if you were a financial advisor, we'd call you a fiduciary, meaning that you're not getting profits based on anything that you're selling. So, you know, we've been at this a while, and 8 and 10% increases add up over time. I probably have like 3 or 4 questions for you. One is, how frequently are we going out to bid for self-insured models, and how much more or less would we ultimately pay if we were fully insured?
Every time I look at fully insured, I'll answer that one first. Every time I look at fully insured versus self-funding, fully insured is 8 to 10% higher going in. The worst part about fully insured is.
Sorry, to clarify, that's 8 or 10% above on a
funding.
fixed year, not like year over year, just like in 25, we would have paid 8 to 10% more if we were fully insured versus self?
Yes, yeah. Blue Cross will tell you, the Blue Cross reps will tell you you'll save somewhere 5 to 7 to 8% being self-funded, because they're not working all that profit in there. They have an admin fee, and you're taking some of the risk. So they would tell you that. How often do we bid? I think we bid last year. We bid every couple of years.
Done it
And-
twice since I've been here, which is.
Have we twice since you've been
here? So.
Companies don't like for you to bid every year because they get tired of putting together proposals and not getting any money back out of it. So we try not to do it too often. I really like getting the renewal in and looking at all the claims information and saying, is this a reasonable renewal? If we think we can save 10%, then we definitely want to bid it. Or if we are feeling like, I wonder if we can't get the current company down another 3 or 4%, we'll go out and get a price from 1 or 2 other companies and say, well, this company's reinsurance is, $100,000 less than yours. We want you to drive that reinsurance premium. So we try to look at that all the time. What is the best way to do it? How do we go about doing it?
That's super helpful. So another thing that I have noticed in looking at other divisions and other counties' health insurance rates, our own county's health insurance rate, And just looking at the hard numbers of our health system, and especially in a decade in which, I've been on this board 6 years, and I think we've covered the healthcare increases in their totality a number of years. In fact, I think 21, we passed on a little bit. Last year, we had to pass on a quarter of it, I think. But we've mostly eaten the increases over the last couple of years in order to give our staff the best benefits possible. And yet, a family plan with a $500 deductible, and I apologize in advance if this number's not perfect, but I think last year or the year before when we were negotiating this, a family plan with a $500 deductible is something like $1,080 a month. Sam, why on earth is our insurance so high?
Why is it so high?
Why is it so high? Why is it $1,000 for a family?
I just looked at a $3,100 family rate today. For a whole family, for a family of 3 or more.
Sure.
$3,100. Everybody's rates are like that. It goes back to, number one, insurance companies are making money, of course, but it goes more back to the government and being in the middle of all of it, the number of people that we are covering going in the hospital that have no insurance, et cetera, et cetera. You can add it all up, and that's what's happening. Part of it too, I will tell you, look at your automobile insurance.
Mhm.
Look at your homeowners. What's happened to it in the last couple of years? Look at the country and all the riots and the burnings and all the stuff that's going on. All of that, all this is driving it up. The government can't seem to stop all of this from going on, and it's all coming back to us, unfortunately, to pay.
Sure, okay, well, let's move away from the macro political context and look at comparisons. So we have a school division, we have staff, we have prices for insurance. It is my understanding that our school division, for some reason, has considerably higher premiums or rather cost of insurance than other school divisions. Is there anything in particular that is making our staff or our school division have higher claims or be less healthy? Like, what is unique about Fluvanna that is making us have such a substantial premium for things like family plans?
I'll pull a study together for you on that. And it's not as big a variance as you're thinking maybe it is, because
That would be really helpful.
when you gotta compare a $500 deductible and maybe another school has $1,000 or $2,000. So you gotta look at the plans and then you gotta look at the premiums.
Mhm.
But realize the Affordable Care Act, number one, said 85 cents of every dollar has to go back out the door in claims. So the insurance company has to pay 85 cents of every premium dollar has to go back out in claims. So for y'all or any other large groups anywhere around, that is kind of a function of what's going on. But I think what we're gonna find, because
Sorry, I think I'm missing the causal mechanism. So what you're saying is that the government mandates that 85% of what we pay ultimately go to claims. So how is that driving? What's the causal mechanism that makes that problematic? You would want the vast majority of the money that you spend to go to claims, right?
yeah, it's not a problem. I'm not saying that's a problem, it's actually a good thing.
Okay.
But what I'm telling you is, that's what's driving your premium. If your family rate, total rate is $2,000, and you're charging the employee out here $1,000 to insure their family, that's what's causing that rate to be $2,000 to start with. Now, I can also show you I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. You're saying that because the government is mandating 85% of dollars ultimately go to claims, you're saying that 85% of the variance in cost is accounted for by claims in and of itself. Is that right?
And if your claims are worse here than they are in Spotsylvania or
That's the question that I have.
That's what's driving.
Do we have more, on average, do we have more claims? Do we have larger claims? Are we, basically, I'm just seeing that our insurance rates are just higher than other places. And you're saying maybe it's not as bad, maybe you're not looking at apples to apples. I would like to look at
I
apples to
agree.
apples, like,
Yeah.
we gotta find a way, I can't vote on something that makes our teachers worse off after they get a raise and then we increase insurance. And I can't go down the hill and advocate for these enormous $1 million increases that we're gonna foot the bill for. So the fundamental question here is, are we less healthy than other divisions? If so, how? And again, in aggregate, without personal information and all that.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Are we on average have the same health claims as surrounding areas? Or are we different? And if we're special, why are we special? And I'm sure given the rates that we have, it's negative. And then 3, how do we get them down? Like, what are the levers that we can functionally pull in order to make our system and our staff healthier?
Yeah.
I know those are big questions, but
No, and we can address some of that.
I definitely wanna address, I know that we have wellness programs, I know that we do other things to incentivize, but like functionally, we have enormous premiums that I don't know how on earth we can ask a teacher making $56,000 a year to pay $1,000 in insurance for their family. Nor can we afford to like eat that year over year as best as our intent is. And so functionally, like at some point there needs to be either a relief valve, which you won't get a stronger argument from me for single payer health systems than the premiums that we have in Fluvanna County. But barring that, like we gotta find ways in order to do more with less, if you will. So how is it that we can transform our health system and or provide incentives and or encourage healthier habits in order to get these premiums down?
And a real quick answer on that is, because you mentioned somebody wellness programs,
Sure.
et cetera. I've never seen a lot of good coming out of wellness program. The health coaches that I was telling you about, those are important.
Mhm.
A wellness program that just promotes everybody go get their routine once a year physical. That is part of the key to everything. Everybody go get an eye checkup, everybody go to the dentist. If you can encourage those things, they will find medical problems early on and help curb the cost of them. And that is very important to try to do those types of things. I've never seen any real what they call wellness programs and walking programs and all of this stuff, unless you can get the majority of your population into that. It's really difficult. A lot of people have paid, a lot of clients have paid for gym memberships and things like that. And the ones going to the gym are the ones that are gonna go anyway, whether you pay it or not. And then most of us, and I'm guilty of it, probably not gonna get to the gym like I should. So, there are some things we can talk about and delve into. I'd be happy to do that. I'd be happy to come back up and sit down with you one day and walk through all of it. But I'll pull together the surrounding areas.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have some comparison points,
I
because
can do
certainly over my 6 years, I've noticed that our premiums are higher, and I just don't know how to ask staff to pay any more, period. And so we gotta find some ways to do it. For instance, I don't remember if it was an email or a public comment somebody made about sort of, and we made other changes too. Like, for instance, we changed the way that health insurance works in retirement a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
We added a spousal exclusion claim. So we've made all these things to tighten our belt, which really comes at human and capital cost in terms of passing those burdens on to people who otherwise would have expected to be able to get health care. Something that someone mentioned either via email or public comment was about doing like nicotine attestations and or restrictions. What are your opinions on those? How effective are they? And ultimately, maybe who wins and who loses?
I don't have a real feeling on the nicotine one. I think that I can do some research on that and come up with something on that for you. I think it's important personally to try to encourage that. I think anytime that you can see areas and say, hey, maybe we can help somebody here. One of our goals has always been, I don't want to just come renew your insurance.
Mhm.
I want to be able to renew your insurance without changing benefits and without increasing cost to your employee. And I know that puts y'all in a position to have to go back to the county and saying, we need more money, we need more money, we need more money. But that's my goal with every client, every year, because I'm an employee too. I'm one of these people too, just as y'all are, that needs health insurance and have to pay for health insurance. And I agree, $1,000 a month out of anybody's to cover their family is just way too much. But the best way to fix that, or not the best way, the best way for the school board to fix that is to get the county to give you more money to be able to fix it, as we try to find other ways to keep the premium as low as possible. Now, being in the Jefferson Health Consortium, you're dealing with a governmental entity with no profit margin, and it's a consortium. So the consortium itself, which has 7 or 8 entities in it in Virginia right now, is helping with overall cost, because what that is doing, well, you've got $125,000 spec. The consortium is covering from the 125 to 550. So it's covering the next $400,000. Therefore, they're not taking the insurance premium and sending it out to Lords of London or somebody. They're holding that. Berkeley doesn't get that money. They hold that. Now, Berkeley right now is covering from the 500 to the 5 million if you have something that crazy and that big. So that's helping somewhat. Does it get you from a $2,000 family rate to a $1,500? It's not going to be that much variance in it anywhere you go.
All of that's useful, and you know, Sam, we know each other 6 years, we chat annually and all that, and I apologize for turning the fire hose on you, but also, like, it's my job, right? The notion of going down the hill and just asking the county for more revenue is great, but it's gotta come from somewhere, they gotta be willing to give it, and there's opportunity cost all day long, right? That the extra $1 million in health insurance is $1 million we can't give to staff in actual pay that helps their retirement. It means we can't hire additional mental and behavioral staff, and so, like, in a zero-sum game, like, we gotta find ways to, like, stop the bleed, and at 8 to 10% a year, and already being astronomically high, like, we just gotta find a way to wrangle this a little bit. So I'm open to a number, honestly, just about any suggestion, but I think if we start from a premise of the fundamental research question being, is Fluvanna paying more, our school system? Are we paying more? Are we, do we have more claims? Are we less healthy? And starting from that as a point of ground truth to try to explain why it is that our staff pay the high, from my understanding and from looking at other things, one of the highest insurance rates in the region. And if you come back and say, James, that's just not true, great. But, like, if we can start from a shared premise of, like, this is ground truth, Fluvanna is or isn't paying more or is sicker or whatever the case may be, that gives a starting place to figure out where we're headed and what we can do. But, like, you know, last year we just could not hold our staff harmless, and I suspect it's gonna be the case this year again. And so I would love to work with you to figure out what we can do to fix this.
I think that's a great idea. And I will mention one other thing. Excuse me. The high deductible health plan with the HSA. And I can't preach it enough to everybody in this room and all of your employees. If we can get everybody across to that program, the employee, when they get ready to go have a service done, they realize that card that they've got in their pocket, that health savings account card in their pocket with that money on it, is their money. It should slow down emergency room visits. Because quite frankly, and that's one thing we will definitely take a look at, maybe y'all have 30% too many ER visits, where people should have gone during the week to the doctor and they didn't, and then they end up in the ER on Saturday night or Friday night or whatever, because they feel worse and they go on to the ER. Well, the ER is $600,000 to $800,000 or more. The doctor's visit is $100,000. So, you know, we can look at specific things like that to try to drive costs down a little bit. I don't think it's It's not the kind of money you're looking for that I would be looking
Well,
for, but it's
Any
helpful.
money is money, my friend. So,
It is.
and I hear you on a couple things. One, yes, do we want fewer ER visits in general? Do we want fewer unnecessary ER visits? And to nudge our staff to things like potentially web-based, getting a provider, which is less expensive than an ER, and or going to minute clinics if the margins are there. I'm with that. I mean, the high yield savings account, I understand the like triple tax implications on it. However, that also, it also suggests that people have cash flow and or savings to withstand. And so, the purpose of a $500, $1,000 deductible plan is to functionally smooth your cash flow so that you're not ultimately at risk of cash events that are substantial.
Exactly.
And so like if a teacher's getting paid $56,000 and has $1,000, well, anyway, the point is, if they don't have the savings and or can't afford the cash flow events, then like, why on earth would we nudge them to a plan that ultimately will lead to worse financial outcomes for them?
Well, and I'm not saying you nudge them into it, but I'm saying that, yeah, maybe you give them an incentive and let them look at it and say, does this make sense? You're gonna have, but I can tell you that you've got people here talking about the triple tax advantage. You've got people in the system that are probably hitting the out-of-pocket limit just about every year because they're taking a high-priced medication or have things going on.
Mhm.
Those people all should be in high-deductible health plan because their out-of-pocket cost for the year would be lower because of the tax benefits of it. Years ago, we could itemize deductions and you slap your medical expense right in there with itemized deduction. Well, that's long since gone by the wayside, but the health savings account gives it back to you in a way. So there are different things. I think we can keep educating people and try to be sure people understand. I agree with you, the cash flow problem, and that's one thing we always, all of my people know. If somebody's getting ready to go to the high deductible health plan with HSA, the questions are you getting ready to have a surgery of any sort? Do you know of a hospitalization? Are you
Having a kid.
Are you taking a high-priced medication? Yeah, and kids factor into that too.
And
But-
do you have savings?
but
Can you make the
Can
ends
you,
meet?
can you do it? Because look at it this way. This year, the high deductible health plan, the deductible's going from $3,300 to $3,400. And what that's saying is you got to pay the first $3,400 of your medical expense as an employee or dependent.
A lot of teachers with $3,500
So
sitting
that's what I'm getting at. So I want to know if that teacher or support staff, classified worker in the cafeteria or whomever is looking at this, and they're looking at it because that's the cheapest employee deduction on the page. But if they're taking a medicine that costs $5,000 a month, how are they gonna get the medicine the first month? They can't do it. So those people, we absolutely always steer away from going in that direction, even though they'd be better off if they can go in that direction. So we ask them, have you got the ability to do this?
Is there a way that you all can provide, it's always such a quick turnaround between rates and ultimately making the decision on these things. However, why is it that if we believe that, there's no right or wrong plan, if you will, but there are retrospectively plans that you would have paid more or less as an individual for given your health outcomes, do you ever send out a post hoc like during renewal to say like, if you had chosen this deductible plan versus this deductible plan versus the high yield, what would you have paid out of pocket last year? Because that's the kind of information that might help guide people towards more informed decision making.
Yeah, we can do that. We have not sent out anything in writing. We do talk about that in open enrollment meetings and when we're signing people up to be sure they understand their particular situation. But I know what you're saying we could do, and certainly we can put that out. We can actually send it up and put it out 3 or 4 times a year so people are seeing it and
Yeah, that's just
thinking about their situation.
to the extent that some of our, so just assuming or allowing for plan selection to be part of the like problem, if you will. If we want to be paternalistic about telling people which plans might be best for them, we should be able to provide substantial evidence as to why that's the case.
Yeah,
The math should be
that's a good
easy
idea.
enough to do.
We can do that.
I do appreciate you, I know I peppered you, but
That's okay, I
yeah,
expect
it's my
it.
job to pepper you, man.
I expect it,
like,
and I
you can take
appreciate it.
But I do, like, we just gotta work on this because $1,000 a month for a family plan is unacceptable and we gotta find ways to fix it.
I love the idea, and love the idea of sitting down with you and just hammering it out and figuring it out.
Well, I apologize, board, for going nuts here, but I will, I am good on this topic.
So the 8 to 10% increase, how much money will that cost us?
10% is about $700,000. Put a plus or minus behind it.
I don't know.
I don't remember exactly what you're talking
$1
about.
million error, man.
Somewhere around that.
So
I
you'll
want you
know
to
something
find
about
every-
rates
I'm
next
sorry.
week? You'll know something about a rate schedule next week, you say?
Yeah, when Jefferson Health came to Virginia some years ago, it's been 5, 6 years ago now. They talked to me about would I present that product, and I looked into them and looked at what they were doing, what they accomplished in live, and I said, absolutely, we'll look at your program, and when it makes sense, we'll encourage our clients to try it and go through it. One of the things that I told them, they said, well, we need to build population. We need to get 5,000-10,000 employees, members, in the plan to make this consortium work. And we need to do it, pretty quickly. And I said, well, it's going to totally depend on your rates and how things are going. But I said, one thing that will help you is to agree to give us a not to exceed renewal number by the end of January. Because schools and governments, which is all they underwrite, work on their budgets in December, January, and early February. So they agreed to do that. Now, I called Mark Slodgett, their CFO, the other day, and I said, Fluvanna and this one, I need them before the end of January. When can you give them to me? And he said, well, we'll try to get that together this week and have it by the first part of next week. And the reason I asked for y'all's, all of my employees, we were talking about calendars and open enrollments and when can we do these things, and we don't want to end up jammed up in April and May and don't have enough employees and enough time to handle all the groups. And we said, well, Fluvanna is usually pretty good about looking at stuff and saying, well, let's go in this direction. A couple other schools that we knew that they're gonna look at the renewal, and if it makes sense, they can fund it and they're gonna move on. So I said, I need this one. So that's why y'all were moved up a little bit quicker than first week in February, which is usually when they've been giving it to us.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you being here. Super good information. To just caveat a little bit on the wellness programs and stuff, I don't disagree. You're gonna get the people that are gonna go to the gym anyway, that are gonna go to the gym. What I'd like to see is something that's a little bit more robust in physicals. The last physical I went to was basically a conversation with the doctor. That was about it. I'd like to see maybe some screenings and something that's required, make it a little bit more robust to really catch things before they're an expensive problem. Whether that's some evidence-based blood screens, whatever, some labs, things like that. I'd like to see it be a little bit bigger.
Be more. Yeah. Well, that's one reason I was saying, let's encourage them to do their routine, to see the dentist and see the eye doctor.
Okay.
Because that's where you find these things. See, your routine physical is covered at 100%. No deductible, no copay, it's all covered at 100%, but it's an age-based chart. So a physical for you versus a physical
Right.
for me,
It's
it's entirely different.
It's like checkups on the vehicle, right? Your 200,000, your 100,000, right?
Yeah.
So the other thing I'd like, when you're putting some information together, is there any way to see your proverbial bucket of how much is left over or how much we're over each year when you get that information for us?
Mhm.
New to the board, but I'd like to see the last couple of years of how close we really were to spotting.
Right on. Oh, sure, I can go back and pull
I
that.
appreciate that, thanks.
Any more questions? You don't like to sleep, do you, Sam?
I'm sorry?
Said you don't like to sleep, do you?
Oh, not a lot. Let's see.
I bet our staff is happy to have it pointed at you versus them today.
I hope so. I will say, I think they appreciate you asking the questions and coming to the table. Because yes, every time they have to look at this, they don't like what they see either. You know, this industry has just gotten bad. It really has, as far as rates. Like I said, I looked at a $3,100 rate on a $4,000 deductible today, and I'm like,
That's wild.
but y'all are not in that bad shape, okay?
I guess that's a silver
I
lining.
mean,
All right. Thank y'all. Anything?
Thank you.
Thank you,
That's
Mr.
it.
Thanks, Ms. Irby.
Thank you, Sam.
Go. Appreciate
Appreciate you
you.
being here.
Appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir.
Thank you a lot.
Right, on to reports from the student liaison.
So welcome again. Now, Amina, you have a presentation we're gonna put up here? Is Dr. Stribling, have you all worked all that out?
you just requested access to your slides? Yeah, slides.
Brandon, again, we welcome you to the board. I first met you on the soccer field and have since then just seen the wonderful things you've been doing at the school. Most recently, you were just sharing with me this very innovative thing that I won't spill all the details until you're ready to roll it out, but trying to establish a really cool partnership with Hershey's to come to the school and help generate some revenue for the FBA.
FBLA, sorry.
FBLA, excuse me. Yes.
You're driving the presentation, you have access to the school,
Yes, I think so.
it may be easier than.
What was your?
Are you saying that it's on her iPad now?
It should be, unless you want me to drive, it's up to you.
I'm not sure, like, I can flip through the slides.
Yeah, that's what he
myself.
was.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
So on your screen right there, you see how it is. That's the same thing right there. So you can go up, down. That's you.
Yep.
Click down.
And you can click slideshow if you want on the top right, and it'll make it full screen for you, whatever you want to do. Your mouse is off to the right. And if you use your touchpad and go to the left, you're gonna be the
Our
player.
screen
is
It's not connected.
Oh, no.
Would you
Maybe you
mind?
can drive
Good.
down.
Okay.
You just tell me how to go.
Thank you, I don't think it's
And we're
connected.
there.
There we go, partnership.
Okay, thank you so
Awesome.
much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen do you mind?
Going back.
Yes, please. Thank you. Of the board and everyone else in attendance. My name is Amina and I'm here to present our student-made FCHS student body survey. So I am the first semester representative along with Natalia, who is not able to make it tonight, but we were not able to present this because of the snow at the end of the year. So I will be presenting it now, and I kind of made this to give you guys a feeling of how the students are feeling per se. So you can go ahead. Thank you. So we had a total of 220 about responses, and some grades did have more input than others, but I do think other than that, it was generally even. Some of these questions were multiple choice where students could pick where they felt on a scale, and others were open-ended, but the open-ended questions were not mandatory. So all of these upcoming concerns were discussed with Ms. Bruce, so nothing was tossed to the side per se. And we've come up with a lot of great ideas. And I'd also like to thank her for sticking around for emotional support tonight. And but also please feel free to ask me questions as I go, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my abilities. So this was one of the first questions was, how supported do you feel by the faculty at our school? And I try to view the neutral as sufficient enough to where it's never been a problem and not just as meh, for a lack of better words. And I think it's very nice to see that more students feel supported than not by our faculty. And this is like in a range from like counselors to teachers and etc.
And these are counts, right? So about 12% of students are saying that they feel not very supported or not supported at all.
Mhm. Of those who responded to the survey.
Yeah.
And then this is how safe they feel on a daily basis. And so you'll see in the open-ended questions where some people kind of more expand on this, but we can infer that this could be in relation to fights or threats, but most students do feel generally safe at Fluvanna County High Schools, which is pretty nice. So which of the following would you like the school board to prioritize next year? 25% said more mental health resources, 96% said updated facilities and bathrooms, 137% said improving school lunch quality. And to make the statistics made sense, we had people choose 3. So these were the collected percents. And then 81 students, which is 37%, said more AP and elective options. 23% said stronger anti-bullying policies, 49% said later start time, 8% said earlier start time, 52% said more student voices in decision making, and then 30% said improved communication with staff. So these issues were discussed with Ms. Bruce, and for the updated facilities and bathrooms, Ms. Bruce has adjusted day custodian duties to ensure restrooms are monitored and maintained throughout the school day. As for food options, students have expressed a desire for more food choices. For bullying support, that there is a need for additional teacher training on how to appropriately respond when a student reports bullying. And for communication, students indicated a need for improved communication between staff and students.
Amina, can I ask you a question just real quickly? With the updated facilities and bathrooms, is that related to the commentary that you gave makes me think that's more related to just maintaining cleanliness? Or is that like renovating and updating the facilities, changing the facilities, or keeping them clean?
So I did consider that too, but based on like the open-ended feedback, a lot of them were just kind of upset with like the cleanliness quality.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So which areas of the school need the most improvement? 31% said mental health support, 39% said academic support / tutoring, 31% said classroom resources, 39% said cleanliness and maintenance, 62% said school lunches, and 35% said communication between staff members, and 27% said school climate and inclusivity, and 32% said extracurricular options. So for mental health support, Ms. Bruce has asked Ms. Harlow Berner, who is our AP psychology teacher, to share available mental health resources with students, and students requested a designated hallway where all mental health information is centralized along with pamphlets placed in classroom for easy access. For academic support and tutoring, Fluco Win Time, which is about half an hour in our school time every day, it stands for What I Need, is designated for remediation, enrichment, and academic support. Students are expected to use this time responsibly and remain in their assigned locations. And we also aim to make the school-provided tutoring more available. And for staff communication, Ms. Bruce addressed this concern with the faculty directly, and staff are expected to use Securely Passes consistently throughout the school day to support student accountability, because we do have some staff members who make handwritten notes, and then we do have some who use our Securely system. And we'd like to keep that all consistent. And
I have a question.
yes.
As far as school lunches, what are you guys expecting with school lunches? When I see that 62%.
So this does reflect like not my personal beliefs, but the students, and I believe that I think there could be some more options. I mean, including allergens and things. I know that students who cannot eat gluten-free food are often expected to bring their own, but just allergens and issues like that I think could be more accommodated, and I think just a more broader menu.
Do you like the food at the school?
I typically pack my lunch every day, But the times I have eaten lunch at the school, I typically go through our like fast line, and they have like deli sandwiches, so I typically eat those. So and I'm satisfied with those. And then yeah, it's yes. And then for our extracurricular options, students expressed interest in additional activities. These include girls wrestling, flag football, and kickball. And from previous board meetings, I've heard that we are in the move of making a girls wrestling team. So, do you feel your voice and opinions are heard by the school administration? And we understand it's very hard for students to directly get in contact with administration. So that's why we're kind of having our student representatives step up and take more initiative when they can. And this would be an example of that. And I believe sometimes students confuse heard with satisfied, and being given what they want. And not all concerns can be met, but we want them to make sure that we hear them, even though we're not making any changes. So what is the biggest challenge you face as a student at this school? So this was one of our open-ended questions, and this was a quote from the responses. So for bullying, a student wrote, "Bullying is the biggest issue this school has. Every time I've reported bullying, nothing was ever done, and it continued until I dealt with it myself. And while I won't hesitate to speak up, the same cannot be said for many others." One of the other major factors was stress. It's really stressful being a senior and getting all the grades I need to pass and I assume graduate. And for lunchtimes, one important challenge is the short lunchtimes. A 20-minute lunch is simply not enough for a student to walk to the cafeteria, wait in a 5 to 10-minute lunch line or a 5 to 10-minute line for the microwave, and eat their lunch. So starting off with bullying, staff are working to ensure information relating to bullying concerns are shared promptly with the administration. And for student stress, school counselors will increase check-ins and students to provide additional support. And I believe this is important not just for the college process, but just for well-being check-ins. And for lunch concerns, Ms. Bruce addressed lunch-related concerns by purchasing additional microwaves, and this has definitely helped increase the efficiency and allowing students more time in lunch. And there's also been some concerns brought up by students by maybe only having 3 lunches and then increasing the time as opposed to A, B, C, D lunches. And then how satisfied are you with the current lunch options? And as I mentioned earlier, we saw kind of a need for healthier options and more diverse options, and this is just kind of more focus onto this. So neutral / I don't eat lunch was just about tied with not very satisfied. And then, but it is great to see that more students are somewhat satisfied than not satisfied at all.
So it looks like 85 students out of 220, so something like 39% or something are indicating that they're not very or not satisfied at all. I'd like to see that number drop.
So, which describes the overall mental health resources at our school. And so with this, I believe when 97 students said neutral, I believe that this is likely students who have not quite used them or felt a need to have them, because I know a lot of students have outside mental health resources. And so 25 students said very supportive, 59 said somewhat supportive, and the 97 said neutral. 25 students said not very supportive, and 15 students says not supportive at all. And I did meet with Ms. Bruce to find solutions such as more posters, and I would like these to kind of be in more classrooms. So if I could, everywhere a student turns their head, there would be 988 preferably. So just these are very accessible, and I don't want mental health resources to be something that a student might have to actively look for or search for. They should just be there, provided. And do you feel there are enough opportunities for student involvement within clubs, sports, events, leadership, etc. So the majority of students did say yes, which is 115. 37 students said no, and then 69 said neutral. And if we go to the next slide, there'll kind of be a more in-depth on that. So if you could change one thing about our school immediately, what would it be? And starting with the last slide about involvement, more sports teams, girls wrestling, dance, and these are all coming directly from this survey of what students asked. Flugo Win, a lot of students aren't happy with Flugo Win, but then again, a lot of students are. And like lunch was mentioned, a lot of people would like longer lunches with more diverse options. And for more challenging programs besides the Blue Ridge Virtual Governor School, that's the program for gifted children. And then more class options for APs, elective, dual enrollment, and the dress code. A lot of students were concerned that they felt it was hypocritical and sexist, as if it was, I think, more towards the female students.
So can we double click on hypocritical? Are they saying that students are expected to dress one way and that staff don't meet the same dress code? Is that what you mean by hypocritical on that one?
Yes, I believe not only that, but I do think the word they were looking for would be more of a double standard.
In enforcement or in the way that the code itself is written, do you think?
I believe the code itself.
The code itself.
So there's a need to improve student awareness of course offerings. Last year AP Art History and AP United States History were added. Beginning next school year, the school will expand offerings further with AP African American History, AP Business and Economics, and AP Literature. Current AP offerings also include AP Environmental Science, AP Government, AP Biology, AP Psychology, and AP Language, along with a variety of online course options, mostly through Virtual Virginia. And so we kind of came together and talked about what we could do with this dress code, because this has always been an issue where the women of the school felt the dress code did not suit them. And then we decided, well, what if there was a way we could get kind of input from everyone? So we discussed kind of having sort of a dress code committee where we have like representatives of students who feel this is unfair and kind of come together and talk to staff about why they feel this way or what could maybe be done. And then we kind of thought, what if we had somewhat of a seminar for students to voice their concerns about current school policies and the handbooks, and we could have representatives from multiple different school branches and administrators to kind of answer the students. And these questions would be pre-approved as to not catch anyone off guard. And so while we can't promise to change the dress code or handbook, we want students to at least know that their feelings are heard and acknowledged. So if those would be interested in, a more in-depth explanation about the handbook, we were thinking maybe we could just have a panel of administrators come and kind of answer questions and talk to the students. And that kind of concludes our survey.
Well done, thank you all.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I do survey analysis and present things like this for a living, and should you be in need of a career in the future, I am confident that this is a great starting place.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions?
Board members, any questions?
Oh, that's
No,
phenomenal.
thank you so much, it's great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, on
Hold on a
to,
sec. Did you introduce our new representative?
I think I did.
Oh, okay, sorry, my memory then, looking at data and doing math, it might have gone in and went out the other.
Always happy to do it again. Is there anything you'd want to share with folks by way of introduction, Brendan?
No, I'm just excited to be here. I'm the president of FBLA at our school too, so Future Business Leaders of America. And this is just kind of another way for me to get out there and see how I can help the students of our school.
Awesome, thank you so much, and sorry, Dr. Gretz,
Not a problem.
as soon as he said FBLA, my brain jogged the memory that went in one ear and was waiting for storage. Thank you.
all right, we're on to public comments. We're coming to the time of the meeting with public comments. I'll remind everyone that our policy, only members of the community, meaning residents of Fluvanna and staff of Fluvanna County Public Schools may address the board unless you are legal counsel representing group interest in tonight's proceedings. We welcome all committee members who are here to give information or opinions. Who actually come to the podium, tell us your name, address, limit your comments to 3 minutes. The time will be on the TVs ahead. We'll start with anybody who's on the sign-up sheet. If you're not up on the sign-up sheet, you still can come forward and speak. Seeing there's nobody on the sign-up sheet, you can come on down.
Georgiana Jocelyn, 5 White Bluff Court. First of all, I want to thank the student liaisons. That was an absolutely amazing presentation. Thank you so much. Secondly, I want to thank all of you for showing up tonight for the students, the families, and the employees of Fluvanna County Public Schools, the ones who elected you to this office. To our new members, I want to thank you both for running and stepping up for the community when they needed you to. And to our returning and sitting members, you know me, and you know that I'm going to be here and often as I can, or watching online when I can't. Others are also going to be watching too. We learned the hard way what happens when people stop watching. A couple of years ago, we started a Facebook page to help keep things above board. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Fluvanna County School Board, because accountability matters, character matters, integrity matters, ethics matter, facts matter, and communication matters. Take the words of the code of conduct that you signed tonight to heart, please. We look forward to working with all of you this year and not against you. Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak?
My name is Ashley Crocker. I live in the Fork Union District. I wasn't planning on speaking tonight, so please bear with me. Welcome to the new members. Thank you for stepping up to serve. Congratulations to the teachers and staff of People of the Year. That was really great. And thank you for your really great presentation. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't planning to speak here tonight, but because Mr. Irby is here, let's talk about health insurance. I've been coming to these meetings for a long time, and I always see you scratch your heads, kind of wondering why our health insurance premiums are so high. We never seem to figure out an answer, and I would love to see any study that Mr. Irby can pull together. I think that would be very interesting. But it's really clear to me that no other surrounding district has a polluting fossil fuel plant, and that's why we have high health insurance premiums. There is no safe amount of particulate matter, 2.5. The EPA allows those plants to spray it into the air, but it's poisoning the people in our county. A credible third party, Harvard scientists did a study on the plant that is currently proposed, and they found that that plant will result in 60 to 90 premature deaths over the course of the plant and 180 cases of asthma. And that's not even taking into account what we already have. So I know that we see dollar signs in our eyes when we hear this proposal, and we want a new elementary school. We want more funding for our schools, and I do too. I want my kids to go to well-funded schools. And right now, I don't think they do. But we can't run a school division that teaches kids to read and gets them to learn if they're too sick to come to school. So it's time to stop scratching our heads and saying, gee golly, I just guess there's no way to know why our health insurance are so high. And I know that we can't go back and undo the gas plant that already exists here that's actively harming our community, but at the very least, we could stop advocating for another one that's going to continue to pollute and poison our community. I know we need more funding, and I'm here all the time advocating for that, but no amount of money is worth it for even one premature death, much less 90. Thank you.
Good evening, Superintendent, members of the board. My name is Andrea Overweg. I've addressed this board many times over several years, going back to when Dr. Keller was the superintendent. I'm a resident of Fluvanna County since 2001. I reside at 2 Powhatan Road with my husband and 2 daughters. One daughter graduated from Fluvanna County High School, and one daughter is currently attending Charlottesville City Schools. And I think tonight is the perfect opportunity to say the students gave a wonderful presentation, but since mental health was a part of it, I would like to address that one of the #1 reasons why I pulled my daughter from this public school system, and I believe in public schools. They are the ladder of opportunity from which all children can climb. I firmly advocate and believe in the importance of a quality public education. These schools should be a cornerstone of our community, and they affect my property value, and I have an investment in my home, and I want to see a return on that investment, as does everyone. So, 8th graders do not belong in a high school. It is not best practices. No other school in this area does this. 5th graders do not belong in a middle school. No other school in this area does this. They need to be removed. Anecdotally, I could waste your time and give a million examples of horrible incidents that have happened, not just to my child, but neighbors and friends. And the fact of the matter is, when you take a feel of the room off to the side, when people are not afraid or intimidated to speak out, teachers will tell you, staff have told me, I've heard from parents, they do not like it. I challenge this board to find a way to get a space study or something done where we can shift the students. 8th graders do not belong, and there is no separation. I don't even want to begin to entertain fallacies that these kids are separated. They're not separated at gym. They're not separated in the hallway. And I don't want to entertain it for 5th graders either. They are not mentally, emotionally equipped. They need to be removed. That is my only comment. Otherwise, the students did a great job. I welcome the new board members, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak. Go Flugos.
Anyone else that want to speak? All right, I'll close the first round of public comments. We do have a second round later in the agenda. On to reports, Dr. Gretz.
Thank you, board members. For the sake of time, I'll just highlight a couple of things. If there's anything in my report or the attached reports that you'd like me to dig into a little deeper, I'm happy to do it. There's some opportunities coming up in the schools. I just ask you to take a look at those. Spelling bee at the middle school is always a very exciting time, and anybody's welcome to come and take a look at that. We have 2 Winter Wonderland events, one at Central Elementary that should be a fun celebration of learning, food trucks. We also have, Ms. Bruce is gone. I was gonna ask her if there was, I know there's a minimum. I didn't know if there's a maximum, if you guys can attend the winter formal or not. But that's coming up, so that should be a good time for all the folks at the high school. We do have some great events going on to support interventions. Mental health has been brought up a couple of times. There's some wonderful things happening at the high school in that regard. Some focus groups, substance abuse intervention groups. I said I was just gonna highlight a few things, and now I'm going through all of them. So I put some data in there, just if it's helpful, I'm happy to start. I'm always trying to find what things to choose to highlight for you. Some data just surrounding some of our operations departments and things that they have processed over the last 30-day period. Well, I'll highlight the CTE and Community Night, February 17th. That's a wonderful opportunity for people to come to the high school and interact with the program, see what they look like, experience food prepared by the culinary students, to just see the programs in action. It's not only very informative, but it's a fun evening as well. I really encourage anybody who's interested to come be a part of that. And we'll save the financial things for a few minutes from now. Is there anything that you'd like me to go into? What I'll say I didn't put in here, but I really enjoyed this week having an opportunity with our 2 new board members, Mr. Edmonds and Mr. Brennan, to join me in our schools. It's been 2 almost full days touring all of our schools, and they sat down in a conference room with our different supervisors of director of technology, supervisor of, actually visited the technology department and saw things firsthand. But really great conversations, great engaged day with you all, and I just thank you for giving up that time, and I really enjoyed it.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So I'll just leave it at that unless there's anything you'd like me to.
Board members, any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Gretz.
That's on the B, Ms. Soares.
So in your packet for FY '26 is the monthly expenditures and revenue report. in a good place on track with expenditures, as well as with revenue aligning with expenditures. I will say we're a little bit behind where we normally are with federal reimbursements, but we have had some delays, but we definitely expect just from the last 2 weeks and some things that are rolling now to be much more caught up by next month. So any questions about? And then can I go down onto the next item? So then on item C for, it says FY27 review, but I do have some updates for 26. The Board of Supervisors approved 2 items from our FY25 carryover request, the $26,000 facilities capacity study as a part 2 to our previous enrollment study, and then the $10,000 to cover PSAT and SAT testing fees for high school students. The governor's amended FY26 budget, or the caboose bill, updates the current biennium using newer enrollment and revenue data. Big picture statewide, the biggest factor continues to be declining enrollment, although for Fluvanna, our enrollments are actually up a little from what was projected. Sales tax revenues came in a little slightly lower, but then there were marked increase for lottery revenues. I think most noteworthy was the amended budget also includes a one-time 2% bonus. This is for SOQ funded instructional and support positions. It's effective as of June 1, 2026. There is a local match required based on our composite index. I'm happy at the next work session to bring some numbers. High level, our state entitlement is about $289,000 that we would be receiving to do this 2% bonus. Our local match, and this is just for SOQ positions, is $188,000. If we were to do a 2% contracted for all contracted employees, as we have in the past, the total was about $382,000 that we would need to find.
Thank you. Just to maybe piggyback there, first of all, going back to the capacity study that the county approved, that, I know we don't directly interact with public comment, but that does speak to what was brought up in terms of, it helps us to address the projected enrollment that Wolpert gave to us. It also gives us an independent review of how to maximize the use of our facilities, because the presence, I don't want to suggest that we would do that because of 5th and 8th grade, but we would do that because it helps us to understand, in the face of potential enrollment increases in the future, how to, again, just maximize the use of our existing facilities. And as part of that study, we would look to this consulting firm to help us envision any opportunities there are to potentially redesign the grade level configurations in the schools. I think that's just important to highlight. The 2% bonus, just to make sure we're all on the same page, that is this fiscal year. So that has to happen before June. The governor put that in his amended budget. And again, just to put us all on the same page, the 2 filters that all state revenue passes through for us. The first is, well, they're not in order, but one is the local composite wealth index. So for every dollar for this 2% raise that the state is going to give us, Fluvanna is going to have to come up with 40 cents of the dollar, and they're going to give us 60 cents of the dollar. The other thing is the standards of quality dictates a certain minimum number of positions, and only those positions are included in this 2% that the governor's giving. And that's about a little over 50% of our staff, and that's true all around the Commonwealth. SOQ funded positions are maybe about half of the employees of any given school division. So 60 cents of every dollar that it will take to give a 2% bonus to about half of our employees. I would never advocate, unless we just couldn't do it otherwise. And there are some school divisions that do get caught in that when the language is like it is here. Sometimes the state budget will allow you to prorate the bonus in such a way, so if you can't come up with the local match, do what you can, and we will prorate what we give you according to what you can do. That is not what's in this. The governor put in this, you do the 2% or you do nothing, meaning we won't give you any money unless you do the full 2%. So if you don't do the full 2%, you're gonna leave the roughly $200,000 from the state on the table. I would not advocate that we only do the roughly 54% of our employees that are included, because obviously we have half of our employees not getting the 2% bonus. It is gonna require that we find that almost $400,000 in this fiscal year to match the 200 that the state is going to give. So I didn't mean to kick a dead horse there. I just wanna make sure we're all on the same page with that, what that means for this fiscal year. Again, we're not talking about next year.
Maybe to put this more pointedly to people in the community, this is functionally a thinly veiled, unfunded mandate. What it means is the state is saying, we'll help you fund a 2% bonus. One, a bonus doesn't impact their retirement and doesn't help them long term. It's a one-time thing. You can imagine how much 2% of a $50,000 or $55,000 paycheck, how tiny that is. And then to, I don't know, pour salt in the wound, they're only gonna give us a third of what we need to actually do this. So this is the state saying, yes, we're sitting on cash and budget overages, but we're too cheap to invest in real education and real salaries and make investments in long term. Instead, we're going to give you something that feels good, but then we're gonna make you pay for 2/3 of it. And it really sucks. Are they doing the same thing to sheriffs and other state employees?
I don't know that. Do you? I don't know if this applies to the county or not. We'll have conversations with Mr. Dahl, obviously, about that.
But you know, when we work our $50-ish million budget down to return 500,000, which is like 1%, and then now all of a sudden we're gonna have to come up with 382,000 to fund a one-time bonus that might feel good now, but doesn't serve us in the long run. It's a pretty hard pill to swallow. And I know that's not you guys, but I'm just trying to contextualize why this sucks and why every time the state says, we're gonna give you 1% or $1, what they really mean is we're gonna give you 1/3 of that. Because by the time it runs through the SOQ positions, which say silly things like you only need one teacher per X number of students, but you tell me how you manage a classroom of that size, they only pay for 3 out of 89 or so instructional assistants, so on and so forth. You know, them telling us they're giving us something is something you gotta sort of do a lot of math and reduction on, which is a huge bummer and an indictment on the way that we fund public education in Virginia and in the United States. So, suppose soapbox over.
You wanna talk about 27?
Yeah, I can, so for our next work session, I'll bring maybe a worksheet, and by then we are planning to reannualize salaries again this month, and just trying to figure out to be able to bring you information on what the possibility of, you know, if you wanted to do the 2% bonus, one, could we fund that, and two, you know, what would be, I mean, essentially at what cost, right? Like, where would we be finding that money from? So looking ahead to FY '27, the governor's introduced budget, I would say is largely a maintenance budget that, you know, continues existing programs through re-benchmarking. You know, we talked about, I think last month, the updated local composite index, you know, is gonna reduce state aid, but they did do some offsetting through some re-benchmarking and sales tax adjustments. I would say probably the most significant new investment again in the biennium was the employee compensation. There was a proposal for 2%, not a bonus, but a salary increase, but again for SOQ funded positions, both for FY '27 and then another 2% increase for FY '28. And you kind of had to do both, but there did seem to be some flexibility. For example, if you wanted in FY '27 to do 3%, you could essentially get credit to then in FY '28 only have to do 1%. But again, the support is for SOQ funded salaries and there is a local match required. We did receive our VRS rate letter today, and so we do have confirmation now that of a decrease in our employer contribution rate, so that will result in some savings. I will update our calendar work sessions or update the budget calendar and republish for our upcoming work sessions and dates for approval and Board of Supervisors meetings. For the January work session, I was going to share with you a list of some things that I was thinking of bringing, and then I was hoping tonight maybe if you had other items or things that you'd like, information that you'd like me to bring, I'd be happy to start working on that. So definitely I was thinking to bring information of, I think at our October work session, maybe we looked at what was a step and what was a 1% in terms of salary compensation. So I'll bring 2%. 2% in a step, 3%. I'll definitely bring 2%, but do you want to see any other estimates outside of 2%?
And we'll talk about this in the work session too, but just to provide some context there. We get this from, there's a business meeting that Ms. Soros and I attend where we hear from the governor's office and we see the forecast related to what's going to happen with the General Assembly. And they also attend meetings with regional partners. And so you want to just share some of what you know that our partners are doing, what they've said they're going to do? I just think it's important to keep in mind.
I don't really want to call out any, so Ms. Settle and I meet almost monthly with just other regional neighboring finance directors. So we met today and everybody was talking about, the bonus and then what they were thinking in terms of salary compensation. It sounds like most people are thinking they're going to at least do a 2%. Only one of our neighboring divisions that was in the meeting today, out that way, was saying they thought they were going to do 3%.
Which is in our comparative.
Mm-hmm.
I just think for context, when we're looking at that, and we've talked before as new board members are coming on about the model that we've been using, the comparative model with the other 4 divisions, and then we've included Buckingham. We've seen that our salaries are getting back down to where we're last again. And so if the state's providing 2, and we know of at least 1 that's going to be doing 3, I just want us to be aware. Just keep that in your head and we'll move that forward as well.
And then there were some conversations around some that were doing 2. We're doing 2 and the step, and we typically have done 2, the percent increase or the step, whichever of the 2 were higher. So
Which turns the 2 into about 3.5 probably for most.
I'm happy to crunch any numbers you want me to crunch. So if there's
Yeah, do you want to do 2 or 2 and 3 or, if you will? Sorry if that's too fast, but functionally for our guests, which is unique. 2% or the step increase, which is higher. 2% and the step increase, which would far surpass 3%, and then 3% or the step, whichever is higher. It gives us some working room to understand how much it'll cost to invest in these salary changes.
So I'm anticipating that we'll have a dollar amount for our January work session that I'll bring in terms of health insurance increase and some documentation to support conversations around that. We've got some identified budget needs from schools and departments and are continuing to have those block parties with staff over the next couple weeks. So I'll have that information to share. I'll have some information where I'm crosswalking the template differences between FY '26 and what at least is currently proposed for FY '27. and how our ADM that's projected and what we're seeing will impact that. And then I'll bring some information in terms of the rate change for VRS, what kinds of savings we can anticipate for that.
What is the VRS rate right now?
So right now it's 14, hold on one second, I do have
There's
that.
two different rates, there's like two classifications of employees, if you have both.
Yeah, so for professional right now, it's 14.21 and it's decreasing to 12.2. And then for our non-professional, it's currently 2.6 and it's decreasing to 1.9. There is no change to the retiree health credit. There was a decrease for both professional and non-professional for group life insurance from 1.18 to 1.06, and then FICA stays the same, so the biggest was VRS, and then so essentially when you look across all of those, the non-professional total combined benefits went from 24.25 to 21.93, and professional went from 12.33 to 11.63.
And those terms, just to make sure everybody's aware, are not our terms. Frankly, I can't stand them, but those are the terms that the VRS uses, professional and non-professional, in terms of classifying employees. Those are not our terms. We choose not to use them if we could. So, any feedback that you can give, obviously, and the other thing I'll just offer, and I will probably proactively reach out to you to prompt this, Ms. Kreitzer and I, if you'd be interested and had the availability to come in for either, obviously can't meet with more than two of you at a time, but one or two at any given time, to look at some budget considerations, to interact with some of the things prior to the seminar. I'm happy to do that. I think that can be helpful especially if you have questions, and we can go through them together.
Ms. Sardis, could you also, for the next meeting, work out what the cost savings gonna be with that VRS drop?
Yes.
Just a total number.
I have an estimate now, but
I have a ballpark in
I was in my
What do
brain
you
trying to
think?
do it, but.
What do I think? I think we're gonna save about 2% on salary, which I think is like 85% of our budget or something high like that. I know that instruction is theoretically 91 to 93. I don't know how much of that is, but I don't know, 400 grand?
I had about 580 I was thinking for rough savings. And again, that was based on that would be more, that was, I did consider if we gave a 2% raise and then built it on that.
Yeah, my math was, I'm staring at 850, but I always take a haircut in large unknown numbers, and so, but it's substantial enough to help offset
That's
some amount of other things, including insurance
whatever.
premiums.
Right, that's what I was thinking. All right, thank you.
I think given some of the things that we heard about the proposed budget and the change in administrations, I think it'll be fascinating to see what happens with what's been proposed. There's some tax cuts in what's proposed. There's an enormous amount of money that's being directed to Medicaid. I'm not making any comments about that. I'm just saying I think the potential for changes that could have a big impact on our conversations in here are there. I don't know where.
We're getting a new administration, right? And the last time that happened, we had like significant delay and departure from what was theoretically presented in the winter until we got into the spring. So I just don't know. I don't know how much to like put stock in just about anything our state government says until things kind of settle out. But I like seeing lower rates and ability to offset some of our cost increases. So I'm gonna keep fingers and toes crossed that we see more revenue come down this way.
All right, on to unfinished business. Board, is there any unfinished business?
Don't know of any right off.
Any new business? All right, on to 14A, action item, approval of Lake County Public School Policy Update, KBA-R. Dr. Gress, you want to talk?
Just to refresh your memory and for the two new board members, we revised this policy in order to bring it in line with the expectations of state code and to try to standardize our approach to essentially what to charge for FOIA request processing. I'm happy to go deeper than that, just to maybe oversimplify. It hasn't really been consistent. And I made the comment last month, I don't want what we do to be a product of just my personal sentiment towards something. And then whoever follows me may have a different sentiment. And we did this to try to codify it, to make it fair, to make it consistent. Again, I'm happy to go deeper into this, but that's the biggest change. And so it was heard on first reading
And so I sat in the crowd and listened last month. And so the big changes are simply pricing, right? The language was changed for pricing, struck and changed.
Yes. And it
wasn't, astronomical.
doesn't change the pricing so much as it just establishes something that will be
Said better.
used.
Yep, said better.
All right, any more questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion for approval of Lake County Public School Policy Update, KBA-R.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve FCPS policy update Kilo Bravo Alpha hyphen Romeo.
Do I have a?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Rittenhouse. Any discussion? Any more discussion? All right, all those in favor of approval of Fluent County Public School Policy Update, KBA-R. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All right, on to 15A, public comments. Second round, we come to the time of meeting for public comments. Our reminder warning that our policy, only members of the community, meaning residents of Fluent and staff in the county public schools, may address the board unless they are legal counsel representing group interested in tonight's proceeding. We welcome all community members who are here to give information or opinions. We ask that you come to the podium, tell us your name and address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. And the time will be up on the TVs. Anybody want to come and speak? All right, seeing nobody's coming down, I'll close the second round of public comments. On to our school board member comments. I'll start with Mr. Evans.
Just enjoyed my first meeting, learning a lot. As a lot of you guys know, I'm kind of new to this, so learning on the fly. Everyone at one point in time had to do something new. And so I'm just eager to get on the bike and start riding until I fall off and get back up and do it again. So looking forward to it.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Mr. Brennan.
Nope, sentiments the same. Excited to be here. Thank you so much for your hospitality through all the schools this week, meeting all the principals, meeting admin. It's great. It's great to be there, to hear such repetitive, amazing comments that people work here and they're here because their family lives here. They live right down the street. They grew up here. It was just the same story over and over again. It was awesome to hear. If anybody's still here from FLDP, thanks for doing it. I think I'm class 21, so it's what got me involved here, and I'd love to see you guys coming back. But excited for a lot of good stuff in the future, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Brennan. Mr. Rittenhouse.
Yeah, glad both of you guys are here. Look forward to the next couple of years with you all. And I did appreciate the student liaison presentation. Appreciate you being there. I'd like to see all the people in the school dressed like you. There ought to be a dress code. They don't have they have a dress code, they don't enforce it. But anyway, that's another story. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Rittenhouse. Dr. Kelly.
Happy New Year to all. Welcome to the two new board members. I don't know these gentlemen as well as I do my colleagues for the last couple of years, and so I'm excited to get to know you. If you guys don't have my cell number, I'll get it to you, and please, dear God, use it anytime, because the amount of information that and the amount of things that we're responsible for knowing and or figuring out is just enormous, and we can't do it alone. I want to thank everybody who's still here, FLGP or otherwise, although class 19, nope, 18, I don't know. I did it in the end of 2018, I think. But an FLDP grad for sure, and so it is good things that you all are doing in learning about and volunteering for your community. So thank you for that. I want to thank the staff for the preparation that goes into these meetings. It goes into planning the budget cycle, that goes into paying attention to the smoke signals that come from Richmond as to which way the wind's gonna blow and how much revenue that means. I know that I'm a little snarky as it relates to the way that we fund public education. That's fundamentally because I think it is broken. I think it is well documented that it is broken. I know I don't think Sam's still here, but you know, Sam came in and took a lot of stuff from me today in terms of questions and being peppered, but that's because this board's about to have a job to figure out how we're gonna fund our schools for the next year. And as casual as it might be to say that the answer is to go down the hill and just ask for more money, anybody who's been through the budgetary process in Fluvanna or pays taxes in any way, shape, or form, no, it's not that easy and it's not costless. And it is absolutely our responsibility to figure out how we can get these premiums down so that our staff can actually afford to live in this county and to pay for health insurance and not be worried about catastrophic loss. And I don't want to be paternalistic and say that people belong in X plan or Y plan. I want to give them the information to make the informed choices so they know what's ahead for them. And so the paternalistic part of that conversation bothered me, to be frank, and that's not how I treat others, it's not how I'll treat our staff, and we just need to do a better job in communicating with one another what the cost and benefits are and what the real life impact is of catastrophic health events and what that can do to your pocketbook and to paying your mortgage at the end of the month. It's something I'm passionate about because I think our system is broken and I've seen it ruin families. And you know, it used to be that the benefits of working in a public school system were the thing. You know, yeah, I'm gonna get paid less because I'm working for the public and I'm teaching kids, but at least I'll have a good retirement and a state pension. And then, you know, we go from a robust plan down to a hybrid plan. Now we're at plan 2 or whatever the case may be. And you see the benefits dwindling, and then we're gonna take away retirement healthcare because we can't afford it anymore. And to be fair, I was part of that vote. I didn't like it 5 years ago. I thought it was gross, but I didn't know how to balance our budget. Then we're gonna get rid of spouses on our health program. And we just see these benefits dwindling, and geez, if you can't work in a school and afford to provide healthcare for your family, then what on earth are we doing? I don't have that answer, but it's our job to make sure that we get it as right as we can and as low cost as we can without sacrificing on quality. Some good notes is that I'm hyped that my colleagues here got into the schools and did some tours. I'm super excited to get back in the building myself in this new year. I haven't had my first visit in 26, but it's a coming. And I'm staring at a pad of paper that's got like 15 dates on it of really good events in our schools, really meaningful dates for the budget. And I'll be excited to find ways to post those online so that you all can join me if you're inclined to see the good things going on in the building. Thank you all for your patience.
I'll kind of echo what everybody else said. Thank the new board members for being here tonight. Look forward to working with you guys. Thanks all the staff, wonderful staff that were recognized tonight. That was fantastic. And I thank fellow board members for electing me chair. I'm very grateful of being in this position. I take this very seriously, and I think that, you know, looking back, hopefully some kid will see me being the chair, that anything is possible in life. And it's very awesome to be the chair and have a senior that's in Fluvanna County Public Schools. So thank you. On the information,
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. It would be appropriate just real quickly, since we had all of our staff of the year, just to say that our current teacher of the year is in attendance tonight.
yes.
We welcome you. She's actually here as I think a graduate student probably for a class that she's in, but should have done that earlier.
Yeah, that's fine.
Welcome. Thank you. On to information items, just look at 17A, 17B, VSBA newsletter, upcoming events, and just pay close attention to Fulton County Public School press release and upcoming events. On to 18A, adjourn the meeting. I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.